Hey guys, so first things first, I'm gonna apologize that I've had really bad allergies lately, especially today, because I stirred up a ton of dust moving shit around, so if I have to, wipe my nose or anything, I'm sorry for the grossness in advance and, being more nasally than usual, but, so my sister, I already mentioned in my last video, moved to Arizona recently, and one of the things she left behind and didn't take with her was one of those wire cube storage storage unit things, and basically, I guess she was just gonna toss it, and I was like, no, 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 I want it. So they left it in their garage, and now I have it, and it seemed perfect for yarn storage for me. I think I'm gonna buy more cubes to add on to it to make it wider and taller, so I can put other stuff in it too. Because I realized it's also about the perfect size for vinyl records and stuff. So I'd like to put those along in the bottom ones, but they're not in it yet, and basically, I stirred up so much dust in here that I didn't even finish filling the whole thing. I filled half of what I've currently got for storage, which I'll swing this around and yeah, I'm trying to see my screen, but basically, let's see, can I point to it? Yeah, this one here is about 3 deep because they're little balls of yarn, but yeah, I'm gonna definitely get at least one more set because I know if I just move my guitar from there, they'd fit. If I got a second set, I could put 3 across the top, and whenever I shell out for another set on top of that, I can put it all the way across and have it be 4 by 4, and that should probably be good because I have a bunch of random crap that I've needed shelves for a long time for that just it hasn't happened for one reason or another. And I'm tired of stuff just sitting around everywhere without a proper place to put it. So, in lieu of having actual shelves built, because it doesn't seem like it's gonna happen anytime soon, I've at least got these to work with, and the great thing about these is that you can keep adding on as you need them, so I can just do that. And there's a couple other spots in my room I can put more of those, but anyway, the other thing worth note, or possibly worth note, is that you may have noticed my Goldie and Liza poster is mysteriously missing. It's not so mysterious. Actually, before I knew that the shelving unit thing was going to be a thing, I was measuring for shelves up there and was going to put shelves there. But then that big Napa quake happened, and no, I'm not putting shelves above my bed because I I had an experience once in our old house where I had a shelf above my bed and I had my lava lamp on top of it. And I was sitting on my bed when this earthquake hit, and it knocked the lava lamp off and it hit me in the back of the head. And I don't know how it didn't knock me out because it's a heavy lava lamp, but basically that made me leery of putting shelves in when we first moved in here. And given it had been a long time since we'd had a big earthquake, I thought, well, maybe I could put up shelves and just have little things on it that wouldn't be heavy and wouldn't hurt. But after that 6.1 earthquake, I'm just like, you know what? No shelves above the bed. So my posters are going back up. I mean, if they hadn't gone there, it's not like I was going to get rid of them. They were just going to move to other walls. But anyway, that is not the point of this video. So, yeah. This video is going to be about awkward teenage phases. We all went through them. If you claim you didn't go through any, you're a liar. So, yeah, some people had them worse than others. Some people had more phases than other people. But I know I went through a ton of them. It seemed like at least 2 a year. But mine were so epically, horrendously bad that mine were like full-on identity crisis level. I don't know about you guys's. I mean, for some people, the awkward teenage years were just gawky awkwardness in general. Mine were more of the total reinvention of self for whatever reason, no matter how bad those ideas may have been type phases. So, yeah, the teen years are hard for anybody, and they're awkward for anyone, but mine were also magnified by the fact that at 13, it was my first year going into a public school ever. And it was so bad. It was so bad. Like, for the first half the year, I basically didn't speak to, like, anyone at all or in class. I just was, like, practically mute. I didn't say anything to anyone because I was so horribly shy that I just couldn't deal. So somewhere midway in the year, I got this terrible idea. I don't know why the fuck I thought this was a good idea, but I started, like, talking with a fake British accent and had made up, like, this backstory of apparently being from England or some shit. I don't even know. I don't know why I thought this was a good idea. I don't know. In hindsight's always 2020, but terrible idea, because anything like that, you're gonna be found out, and my fake British accents, you've heard them before, they're not good. They're not good. They're not believable, and again, I don't know why I thought it was a good idea, and why I thought maybe I could, like, make friends that way, but yeah, this was flawed from the get-go, because the year I transferred to this school, a couple other people from the school I'd previously been in had also transferred to this school. Yep, you can see where this is going. I think I managed to maintain the facade, surprisingly, for like a month. I don't know how. I have no freaking clue how I even kept it up that long. But by this point, I think I must have crossed paths with somebody from the previous school. And they very publicly called me out on my bullshit and game over, and that was the end of my social life for the year. Yeah, you pull some shit like that, that is social suicide right there. But right around that time was when Linda McCartney died, and I decided I was going to try to be the next Linda McCartney. Not try to be her specifically, but very heavily influenced, like, hardcore eco-hippie shit. Although I did try to, like, adopt the haircut from, like, Band on the Run. Oh, God, it was bad, and I think at least one of my school pictures taken, it might have been my first high school picture, was with that haircut. Problem number one, I'm not a blonde. I didn't dye my hair blonde either. So, right off the bat, it already looked wrong. Problem number two, Linda had really stick-straight, thin hair. I don't. I don't think there is anything you could do to my hair to make it behave like that either. So, I didn't even own, like, a straightening iron of any sort at that point. So, this was just really, really painfully bad. I tried to, like, tease it up in the back, like, fake bouffant, to try and mimic that, like, almost spiky look she had going. Like, seriously, just Google Band on the Run back cover photos, and I think you'll turn up the ones I mean. You'll know it's the right one if it looks like 3 photos spread out, black and white, one of Paul, one of Linda, one of Denny Lane, and they look like passport photos. But, anyway, so I tried to tease up the back to make it look like that, which ended up looking more Peggy Bundy 80s than Linda McCartney 70s. So I did that, and as if that weren't horrendous enough, I decided to braid both sides of my hair. One right here, little teeny tiny braids, because that's what she had, which on her looked cute. On me, looked like an identity crisis Native American. It was a really bad look. I don't know why I thought it was good, but so on top of that, I was trying to find vintage clothes from the early 70s to try and top up the look. But I wasn't getting, like, the cute ones. Oh, no. I was finding ones with thick shoulder pads in them and shit, and I didn't know that I could cut those out, so. And, like, horrible colors, like pastel pink with, like, calico print. I'm pretty sure I'm describing my first high school photo right now, actually. I'm not showing it to you guys. Actually, I'm not sure that I let any of those photos survive. I may have destroyed all of those from that year. Not so lucky on the following high school years. Wish I'd destroyed those too, but I think I got rid of all the copies of the first year. But, yeah, unfortunately, if you look in yearbooks, I'm sure you can find a black and white version of it, though, and just... It was so bad. I don't know why I ever thought it looked good. And I adopted vegetarianism, except I did it all wrong. I didn't look into how to do it the right way. And basically, I made myself really anemic and sick from doing it the wrong way because I didn't find sources of protein to substitute in. Yeah, that. And was throwing all my money away by donating it to PETA because, I mean, in and of itself, commendable idea, but I don't think it was the best way of going about the whole trying to support the animal rights movement thing. And that was just, like, a very small chunk facet of this. My whole wardrobe was fucked. I mean, there's some aspects of the hippie phase that I have absolutely held on to for life, like the love of bohemian things in the, like, late 60s look. I've kept those. I've got a lot of stuff in my closet that still fits that bill. Some of it even from then. Other parts of it are just so unwearable, I don't know why the fuck I even tried. It was really, really bad. But I guess I'm not sure what's worse. That phase, or the phase that followed it, of the fake slut phase, where I tried to look like a slut without actually following through and acting like one, even though I was talking big talk like I was, like for all the sex I wasn't having, I was insisting I was having, because in my family we have really fucked morals, and apparently the worst thing to be is a virgin, so I was totally talking up like, yeah, you can see how horrible this was, but I went through a phase of wearing super short skirts, like mini skirts, with thigh-high boots, not tube tops because I don't have enough boobs to hold them up, but spaghetti strap things that were really, really low neckline things on them that at this point, I'm like, I don't know why I was ever brave enough to wear those, and the really bad, overdone makeup, and just, I don't know why I was trying to look like a hooker and talk like a hooker, basically, but irony, plot twist, I think I'm asexual, so, yeah, that just makes it all the more comical and ironic that I went through a phase where I was trying to make everyone believe I was a slut, because I'm about the furthest thing from it. It's like, yeah, I don't want that with anybody at this juncture, just don't fucking touch me. But yeah, so I went through a phase with that. That evolved into what was intended to be 60s mod, but ended up being this weird amalgamation of some parts of it I did right, but other parts were more like goth. Don't ask how those two fit together, but yeah, you can just imagine the train wreck that ensued. Except instead of dyeing my hair black, this is the point where I decided to try a blonde. I cannot do blonde. I make a really, really, really horrible blonde. Like, if you Google Liza Minnelli Lucky Lady, look at the hair color she has there, and that is the color that was on my head. I wasn't a Liza fan yet. I didn't know who the fuck she was, honestly. So, that may have been a redeeming quality if I had been into her at that point. But I wasn't. So this was just basically a really, really epic fucking fail. It was like, basically, Twiggy meets goth, if one can imagine that, but really fail goth. Like, I was doing the really, really overdone dramatic eye makeup with the black nails and the black lipstick, and the goth clothing but only half goth and half mod, and I don't know what the fuck you would even call that, but yeah. Not to mention, there was also the added factor that I had tried to cut my own hair. My bangs ended up somewhere around here, and the length of it was somewhere up around here, but all uneven and shit, which would be bad enough. But then when it grew in, because I have thick, naturally wavy hair, it like poofed out like Roger Daltrey on the Smothers Brothers appearance, like that, but that really god-awful mac and cheese orangey yellow color. I think that may have been my least favorite one, next to my fail attempt at the Linda McCartney look. I'm cringing so hard just remembering it. I want to cry. There's thankfully, mercifully, very few photos of that face, thank God. But, oh, it was bad. It was bad, 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 bad. Somehow from that, it evolved into my short-lived punk phase. I think that's enough said right there. I think the punk phase was probably the shortest-lived one of any of them, thank God, but all I can say is thank God I never went through with any of the piercings I wanted, because I thought I wanted my eyebrow pierced, my nose pierced, and my lip pierced right here. I would not look good with piercings, and I would look even worse with scars from piercings. So, thankfully I didn't go through with those, but I did go through with, on top of the god-awful blonde color, I tried to make my hair pink. Which, if I had bleached it first, I might be able to pull off. On top of mac and cheese orange, it just looked like a crayon box puked on my head. So, trying to look all badass with my black leather and my studs, but this god-awful hair on my head, it was so bad, it was so bad. So as that was growing out, the punk phase evolved into the Osbournes phase. I say Osbournes because I was in this, like, identity crisis of not really sure if I was going more for Ozzy Osbourne or Kelly Osbourne, and was trying to sort of invoke both at the same time. Neither one really worked, but, this probably should have been a good indicator right there of the whole gender identity crisis I've had my entire life. That probably was the best summarization right there. That I've gone through many, many, many streaks of really just not feeling comfortable in my own skin, and yeah, that one probably summed it up really well, but at the same time, it also was a very weird phase. But, yeah, that was followed up by my trying to denounce all things feminine and trying to pass as a guy. Like, to the point of not even going by my own name. I was going by John. Not after Lennon, no, I just logically made the jump from Jenn to John, if that was my male counterpart, I guess. Instead of Jennifer Michelle, it went to John Michael. I don't know. It was a weird phase of my life, and I don't know if you could label me as a transgender or not, because, oh, I've definitely got the whole thing of, up here, I feel like I was meant to be a guy, and it doesn't match up with out here, but on the other hand, I would make a wussy friggin' dude, because I'm only 4'11", so I would never actually act on going through with, like, a surgery or anything to, like, make things match up, so I'm just going to forever have this identity crisis of male-female, but oh well, I really don't care at this point. I've gotten to a point where I know that I have a lot of inner conflict of these two things, trying to fight each other constantly, but at the same time, the older I get, the less I care about this inner conflict and whatever. So after that phase, it went sort of regressed back into emo kid, not full hardcore goth or anything, but definite emo kid. And there is a difference between emo kid and goth. But at the same time as emo kid, it was sort of like living embodiment of Daria. Which makes me laugh because at that point I had never seen or heard of Daria. But looking at photos of me from that phase, like, I shit you not, I was wearing combat boots, a green jacket, had the same haircut as Daria, had round glasses, and I think about the only thing different was I didn't wear a skirt. I didn't do skirts, I don't like doing skirts, honestly, but, so I did do pants instead, but everything else hell of matches up. So it kind of cracks me up that I didn't even know what Daria was. And I basically was her. Attitude-wise, appearance-wise, and everything. I still kind of feel like if there were a cartoon version of me, it's Daria. But anyway, so that kind of gave way to rocker chick, which obviously there's tones of that have stayed with me my whole life, but it's not like hardcore rocker chick at this point anymore. But there's certain things, fashion-wise and attitude-wise, that have stayed, so that's okay. And somehow from that, I made the jump in my last year of being a teenager to the Liza phase of trying to adopt things from her, looks-wise, like with clothes and hair and makeup, which is probably the first time since the Linda McCartney phase that I've actually tried to go out of my way to look at all feminine, but and like a specific female, but that sort of paved the way for my entire 20s, honestly, because there have been shades of Liza throughout all of that. But, I mean, that's okay. It's not like all on all the time or anything, but there's definite influences there. But that's okay. But anyway, I was just a really awkward, weird fucking teenager who had no sense of self-identity at all. I mean, I can't really say that I feel like I have much more identity at this point, but it's stayed at least a lot more consistent across the board in my 20s than it was in my teens. But, yeah. If you want to hear awkward high school teenager stories, basically, right here. Awkward teen phases, that was kind of my thing, because I never did find a thing that worked, but, so I kind of want to hear about what were you guys' awkward teen phases. Like, comment in the box below, just leave your comments of the awkward teen phases you guys went through, whether you outgrew them, or if they stayed with you. I want to hear about them. So, till next time.